Hello, I am Professor Kalpesh Patel, Electrical Engineering Department from the Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Technical Education and Research Center, Navsari. Our subject is Power Electronics 1 of the BE 3rd year and 5th sem. And the subject code is 3140915. Our third chapter name is DC to AC converter. That means inverter, which convert DC supply into the AC supply. So this is the flow of contents. In previous lecture we completed the classification of the inverter and half bridge inverter and full bridge inverters. So in this lecture we will conduct the unipolar and bipolar SPWM based inverters. SPWM, that means sinusoidal pulse with modulated inverters. Now pulse with modulated inverters. What is the need of pulse width modulated inverters? In previous lecture we studied the half bridge inverter and full bridge inverter, in which width of the pulse for a half cycle remain constant and for another half cycle it remain constant. That means pulse width are fixed and it is the only one pulse per half cycles. So the harmonic content of this kind of waveform, square waveform, is very high. So to reduce the harmonics, we have to connect filter. For single pulse harmonics, the size of filter is very large or it is very costly. So the overall dimension of the inverters become large and finally increase the cost and volume of the inverters. So to reduce the size of the filter, we have to reduce the harmonics. That means we have to reduce the fundamental harmonics. So the filter size will reduce. So to do this, the PWM techniques are used. So the PWM techniques are characteristic by the constant amplitude pulses. Its amplitude is constant, but its pulse width is not constant. That means it is not a single pulse in a one half cycle. So there are many pulses per half cycles. So it reduces the harmonic contents. So the width of these pulses is however modulated to obtain the inverter output voltage control and reduce the harmonic contents. So there are three types of the PWM techniques. First one is a single pulse modulations, second one is a multiple pulse modulations, and third one is a sinusoidal pulse modulations. So first we understand the single pulse modulations. Now single pulse modulations, this is the unmodulated square wave which are obtained by the full bridge inverters. But this kind of waveform is known as the modulated waveforms. That means its pulse width is smaller than the unmodulated waveforms. So this is pulse width is 2D. So by increasing the pulse width, we can increase the output voltage. So the pulse width is vary from 0 to pi. So this kind of waveform is symmetrical about pi by 2 as well as 3 pi by 2. That means at the pi by 2 interval it is repeating. Also from the 3 pi by 2 it is repeating. So the this is called as a Cauchy square wave. So this diagram shows the harmonic contents of single pulse modulations. That means if the pulse width 2D is equal to pi, that means this. So we get this much amount of harmonics. If we reduce the pulse width, so we get reduce the harmonics. So this is for n equal to 2, that means this. Further we reduce the pulse width, it should become this. Further reduce. So by reducing the pulse width, we can decrease the harmonics. Now multiple pulse modulations. In single pulse modulations, there is only one pulse per half cycles. But in multiple modulation, there are more than one pulses per half cycles. So here we consider the two pulses per half cycles. All the width of the pulses are equal to d. So this is the magnitude is Vs. So if we consider but the pulse width is d and this portion is equal to gamma, so this total become gamma plus d by 2 and pi by 2 and pi. So up to the pi it is 1 positive half cycle and pi to 2 pi negative half cycles. So the Fourier analysis of this kind of waveform is given by Bn equal to 2 by pi, because there are two pulses. So 2 by and pi. Pi is the half cycle of the pulses. So now the integration is taken from 0 to pi for this half cycle only. So it is integration 0 to pi and output voltage is V0 sin n omega t d omega t. So 2 by pi. So now the pulse width is start from this point. It is the gamma minus d by 2. So it is gamma minus d by 2 to remain turn on for gamma plus d by 2. So it is gamma plus d by 2 and Vs, its magnitude sin n omega t d omega t. This is for one cycle. So if we consider two cycles, so it is multiplied by 2. The use of factor 2 is above expression accounted two pulses from 0 to pi. So there is from 0 to pi there is two pulses, so indicated that 2 times. Now how we obtain the multiples modulations. So to obtain the multiples modulation, we have to compare two signals. One is a carrier signal and one is a reference signals. Reference signals frequency is desired frequency of the output of the inverter. That means it is like a 50 Hz or 60 Hz. But the carrier frequency is very high in kilohertz range to produce the multiple pulse per half cycle instead of the single pulse. So here we consider the carrier wave as a triangular wave. So this is the carrier wave, triangular wave, and this is our reference signals, which is the square. These two pulses are given to the comparators. So one is triangular wave, one is a square wave given to the comparator. So comparator output generate the pulses by comparing two signals. That means from the figure we can say that if the magnitude of the triangle is higher than the reference signals, the output of the comparator is high. So if consider this is the reference signal, this is a triangular. So a magnitude of the triangular wave is increasing. When reach at this point, the output of the comparator become high. So for these portions, output of the comparator remain 1. At this portion, the magnitude of the triangular wave is below the reference wave. So there is no output of the comparator. So by comparing this, we can produce this. If carrier frequency is 4 times the reference frequency, we get the 4 pulses per half cycle. If we need 10 pulses per half cycle, we have to set the carrier frequency of the triangular wave is 10 times the reference signals. So by comparing these two signals, triangular wave as well as the square wave, we get the multiple pulse modulation. But here we seen that the width of the pulses, all the pulses are remain same. That means this pulse width is same, this is same, and this is same. So all pulses width are same. Now the PWM with unipolar switchings. So in previous method we obtained a multiple pulse per half cycle, but the pulse width of the all pulses are the same. But in sinusoidal PWM techniques, width of the pulses are different with size, so it further reduce the harmonics. So in this type of examples, the carrier signal is taken as the triangular, but the reference signal is taken as the sine wave. So this can be seen in this lecture. First we understand what is PWM unipolar switching. So in this method of modulation, several pulses per half cycle are used in the case of the multiple modulations. So in multiple modulation, the pulse width is equal to all the pulses, which is we seen in the previous topic. But in SPWM, sinusoidal PWM techniques, the pulse width is in sinusoidal function of the angular position of the pulses in a cycle as shown in figure. That means this pulse width per half cycle is multiple, but pulse width is not remain same, so it is the variable. So by averaging these pulses, we get the neural sine wave. So if we take the average of this pulse, so there is no pulse, so it is 0. Pulse width is increasing, so magnitude is increasing. At this pulse width is very high, so it is peak value, and further decreasing. So the average value of this kind of pulse is nearer to sine wave, which will reduce the harmonics very small magnitude. So first we understand what is the unipolar. Unipolar, that means at the output side we get the unipolar pulses. That means for half cycle it is positive pulse only, and for the negative half cycle it is the negative pulse only. So it is known as the unipolar modulation scheme. So in which you have one triangular wave, its peak to peak value is 2. That means its positive peak is 1 and negative is -1, not 0 to 1. So it is -1 to +1, and two sine waves are compared. That means one is this sine wave and another is 180 degree shifted. So this is 180 degree shifted of the upper one. So we get the two pulses. So by comparing this sine wave with triangular wave, we get this kind of pulses. That means this is the in this scheme, the PWM pulses are generated when the magnitude of the triangular wave is less than the sine wave. So here we say that at this point magnitude of triangular wave is high, so we don't get any pulses. At this point magnitude of the triangular wave is less than the sine wave, so we get pulses for these portions. So it is these portions. Similarly for these portions, it is these portions. This portion is 0, this portion is 1, so this portion is 1. So for complete cycle we get this kind of waveforms. For second waveform, which is 180 degree phase shifted from this way, so it is this. So in this case we get the sine wave, which is this. So in this scheme we get, for this portion we get the pulses, for this portion we get the pulses, for this portion we get the pulses, and for same. So here we get the two pulses, one for this sine wave and one for 180 degree phase shifted sine wave. So if this kind of pulses are given to the inverter switches, we get the output voltage which is this type. So it is this similar to this, but this magnitude is input of the inverters. If we apply these pulses to the inverter switch, we get this kind of the output. So this is the this output is with respect to neutral is AN, and this output of the phase B with respect to neutral is BN. So at finally the phase voltage between A and B, we get the VAB. So if we compare those two signals, so we get this kind of pulses. So if we subtract this pulse from this pulse, we get this pulse. So for this portion we get the pulses, so this is 0, and for these portions, so these pulses and these pulses. So here we get these pulses for this and these pulses for this. Similarly this, so these pulses for these portions and these pulses for these portions. Similarly we get the complete these cycles. So if we taken out the average of these pulses, we get the nearer to the sine wave. So the harmonic conductance is reduced compared to the square wave inverters. So the future of the unipolar PWM techniques. First one is the 3 voltage levels are there in the outputs. It requires two 180-degree phase shifted sine wave as modulating wave. It is complicated to implement because it is complex. 2 sine wave and 1 triangular wave required. The harmonic performance better compared to the multiples modulations. Filter requirement is less at the inverter output side because of the higher switching frequency as well as the pulse width are variable. Switching losses are less because the pulse width are reduced, so the switching loss are reduced because we have to apply get pulse for the small times compared to the full time in the half wave or full wave rectifiers, most extensively used. However less suited for the transformer less full bridge PV inverter. Now what is the second method of PWM techniques, which is bipolar switchings. Bipolar, that means the output voltage obtained from the inverter have the two polarity, so pulses. That means this is plus, this is minus, this is plus, minus. But in unipolar, pulse width are only positive for half cycle and negative for half cycle. So in this case it is both positive as well as negative. But if we take the average value of these pulses, we get the for positive half cycle and this is for negative half cycle, because for these portions negative pulse width is very small, so we can neglect it, and for positive half cycle pulse width are large compared to negative pulses, so we can take as a positive half. And for these portions we can say that the positive pulse width is small but the negative pulse is high, so we can say we can take on these pulses as a average of negative. So in this method we get the two polarities at the output side. We can say that it is the bipolar switching. So to produce the bipolar switching, we have to compare only one sine wave with the triangular wave. So we get the two gate pulses. This is for this pulse and this for this pulse. That means, and this for this pulses portions, this portion, and the remaining portion, which is that means it is not knotted. So this G1 is knotted, we get the G3. So 0 is inverted, that means 0 is become 1 and 1 become 0. So we get the two pulses. This is for the G1 and this is for the G3. If we apply these two gate pulses to the bridge inverter, we get this kind of the output voltage, which is VAN, which is BN. So if we compare these two waveforms, we get this kind of waveforms. So first we understand at this portion this is positive and this is positive, this is negative and this is positive. So if we compare these two pulses, so here we can say that the pulse width is less, so we get the in the lower output the pulse width is small, and in upper output pulse width is high, so we get the upper pulses. And for these half cycles, the pulse width of the lower as well as upper is less and lower is high, so we get the negative half cycles. That means the pulse width for this portion is upper portion is pulse width is high, so we can take average as a positive sign, and for this cycle average is negative signs, so it is nearer to sine wave, so we can say that harmonics are reduced. So the basic feature of the bipolar PWM techniques, it requires only one sine wave, so it is easy to implement compared to the unipolar. The harmonic performance is poor compared to the unipolar. This is the disadvantage of the bipolar PWM techniques. Require larger filter at the output side because we get at output two types of polarity, positive and negative as well as negative. Switching loss are more compared to the unipolar. Not much use of in the modern era, and however better suited for the transformer less full bridge photovoltaic inverters. So the G2 questions: explain unipolar SPWM techniques based on half bridge and full bridge inverter, may be asked in your G2 examination for 7 marks. And second one is explain bipolar PWM techniques based on the half bridge and full bridge inverter, may be asked in your G2 examination for 7 marks. So you have to draw circuit diagram as well as waveforms. So in this topic we completed the unipolar and bipolar PWM inverters. So in next lecture we will conduct the 3-phase bridge inverter like 180-degree mode of conduction and 120-degree mode of conductions. Thank you.